Hi everyone, Katarina here. So welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you another way of creating a split front card. If you haven't seen my last one where I used acetate in the front, go back and check that out. I will link to it here in the corner and also in the description box below. Today we are going to use a different method. So in here I'm cutting down an A3 card to 16 inches. And then in here you can see me scoring down halfway at 8 inches. Now you don't need to have an A3 card. Just stay with me because I will show you in a little minute, or I will explain how you could have created this card just from an A4 card sheet. I am going to fold and burnish this on the score line that I created. And to create an 8 by 8 inch card base, I'm just simply going to put this back in my trimmer and I'm going to cut through both layers at once. The trimmer from Creative Craft Products, which I got from Craft Stash, is amazing. Honestly, that little blade just cuts through these 2 layers like butter. And I also cut another set in my previous video where I had 3 layers of cardstock and paper, and it cut through it like it was nothing. Honestly, I'm so impressed with this trimmer. I will link to it in the description box below if you want to check that out. It's quite affordable to buy compared to the trimmers that I had in the past. I really love using this one. So I've basically created an 8 by 8 inch card base in here. If you have ready-made card bases in your stash, just go from here. Or if you don't have A3 or 8 by 8 card bases, just take a piece of A4 cardstock and cut it down to 10 by 8 inches. This will make sense in a little moment. So in here, I'm going to start with cutting away 2-inch strip from the front of the cardstock. So I lined the edge up to the 2 inches, and I'm going to use this piece later. And I'm going to cut away another 4-inch section, which I will set aside. And with this, I have that 2-inch flap on the top. So you can see how I could have started with a 10 by 8 inch cardstock, score down at 2 inches on the 10-inch side, and have that little flap on the top. Cut another piece of cardstock to 2 by 8 inches, and that would be the strip which I have on the bottom. So there is several, at least a couple of different ways you could create this card base yourself, starting from absolutely from scratch. In here, I'm taking the fabulous Florals and Flutters paper pad by Chloe's Creative Cards, and I'm choosing a gorgeous pattern that I will be using on this card, and I settle for the dark pink with the light pink butterflies. And I am also going to take a piece of A4 printed colored card from the Leafy Foliage paper pad set. And I'm going to take a light pink one, which coordinates with those butterflies on my pattern. And these are the two I'm going to use to decorate my card front. So I'm going to decorate the two pieces, which are 2 by 8 inches. So for this one, which I'm going to use as the mat, the light pink, I'm going to cut 2 pieces to 1 3/4 to 7 3/4 of an inches. And then I'm going to cut this other one down to 7 3/4 by 7 3/4 of an inch. For this patterned one, I need 2 pieces, which will be 1 1/2 by 7 1/2 inches. And in here, I'm just going to use my collal glue to add the different mats and layers. So this square that I cut down to 7 3/4 of an inch square is going to go to the back of my card. And I'm going to layer up the pattern and the pink papers and just going to add them on those 2 flaps. One that is on the top of my card and one that will be on the bottom. So I'm just adding again the collal glue. Again, the collal glue is one that is going to have this nice and strong, real good quality feel to it once it properly dries. Takes a little while to dry, but it will dry nice and strong. After a long debate with myself between all the different nesting die sets that I have, I settled eventually for the scalloped and pierced ovals die set from Chloe's Creative Cards. If you have this die set, the largest one is almost just under about 8 inches. I didn't want to use that one, so I'm going to start with the second one down, which has that pierced detail to the edge, because this largest one, you see, it would have almost gone from edge to edge on the card, and I wanted it to be a bit smaller, so it helps with the illusion of floating-ish, I guess. So in here you can see I'm taking 4 different nesting dies. So the second largest one and then the 3 up down from there. The largest one I'm going to cut out of white cardstock. The next one down from that same pink I used on the backing of the card. And then the third one, again with white cardstock. And then the fourth one, I'm choosing a pattern, but I don't want to go heavy on the pattern. So I'm going to use that water wash marbled kind of from the same paper pad I used the butterfly pattern from. And I'm going to run these through my die cutting machine. Once they all been run through, I'm going to start layering them up. So I'm using my collal glue again with the 2 larger ones and with the 2 smaller ones. I'm not going to glue the 2 sets together because I will be using foam pads to add some dimension on these later. To attach that bottom strip to my card, first of all, I'm going to use just some low tack tape to make sure it stays nice and lined up with the bottom of my card. And then I'm going to glue this larger set of ovals, just adding glue to the very top and the very bottom. And I'm using just a piece of copy paper, it's just a scrap piece of paper, just to make sure that the glue, if it oozes out, it will not go onto the back of my card. And again, on the other side of the oval, just a little bit of a glue. And I'm just giving it a minute in here. I want to make sure that it will glue it properly. You can use a quick grab glue. I used my collal in here. What I also went ahead and done, see that largest oval die, I cut out 1 more of white heavyweight cardstock. And I am going to glue that onto the inside of it. So with that, I will not only strengthen it all up, but also hiding those strips of the cardstock in there. So it looks like it's always been one piece of card. I think it's such a cool way to conceal lines what you don't want to be seen. Of course, it's very optional because no one will see it, but I just like to add those little details to my cards. So in here you can see I'm using foam pads just to attach the smaller set of ovals on top of the larger ones. We'll already add some lovely dimension in there. And then I'm bringing in my flowers. If you haven't seen the video where I was creating this, I will link to it in the description box below, also on the top right corner in here. And I'm just going through all the different colors, trying to figure out which ones went best. And I went with a corally purplish pinkish theme, and I think it will turn out absolutely gorgeous. So to cut out foliage, I'm picking out 2 different foliage die sets from Chloe's Creative Cards. I will link to them in the description box below if they are still available. And this green A4 sheet of paper is from the Leafy Lace collection printed paper pad. You can see how on one side it's a darker green and on the other side it's a much lighter green. So I folded it in half and I'm going to cut through the 2 layers together. It cuts through no problem in my Gemini die cutting machine. And with this, I'm going to get 2 different shades of green of each foliage. So I love that. It adds a little bit of a dimension having 2 different greens, as you can see in there. So in here, just starting to arrange them and then just tearing some of those foliage into, because they are quite big and I don't want them to overhang everywhere. I just want them to nicely decorate and frame those 3 flowers in there. So I'm just using my hot glue gun in here and I'm just adding a little dip of a glue in there, and then I'm going to fill it all out with the lovely foliage. While I'm doing this, I would just like to say thank you to all of you who's been subscribing to my channel lately, who's been commenting and liking and sharing my videos. It really, really means a lot. I am so very grateful for all the support that I've been getting. And if you like this card, I will link to a playlist for you in the description box below. I already created all different these split front cards, some of which were quite popular with a lot of you. So please do go and check those out. And if you do like some of my videos, do not forget to comment on them. It really helps me with YouTube to get seen, so other people will see my videos as well. Thank you so much in advance. So in here, you can see I just finished filling the flowers, the gaps between the flowers with loads of foliage. And I brought some bling in. I wasn't sure was I going to use the pearls or those rhinestones, but I settled for pink and purple rhinestones. And I'm just going to add 5 on the bottom of that smaller oval. And I'm starting with the largest one and then the medium and the small sizes on either side. If you're not familiar with these bling boxes, they come in all different sets. They have 4 different colors in 3 different sizes in each box, and they are amazing, from Chloe's Creative Cards. So this is the card is finished. I will be adding another oval on the inside, hiding behind that large oval in there, and that's where I will be writing my message. As you can see, I have no sentiment on the front of this card, but you can add one, no problem. There's also a lot of room to write some message on the back of this card. I will show you some close-up images at the end of this video, so stay here tuned. This is the other card that I created and I posted as my previous card with a sentiment on it. So go and check that one out. I think these both turned out beautiful. Don't see a sentiment in here because at this point I was pretty much decided which card will go to your birthday and which one will be the good luck card that I needed to make. I think they are both lovely. Let me know which one is your favorite. I would really, really love to hear your input in this one. So this card ended up being the good luck card, and I will add my message later in the middle. And here you can see a little close-up on my turntable. You can see a little sneak peek on the oval inside where I added my message at the end. And you can see all the lovely glitter and dimension. Again, I have a detailed video on how I created these flowers, linked in the description box below. I really hope you liked today's tutorial, and I cannot wait to see you back for the next one. Until then, bye!